All right, everybody, welcome back to Recliner Sports Talk, Season 2, Episode 2. My name is Nick.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Zach.
We finally have 2 full days back-to-back of football. It's back. We have some college football. Unfortunately, my Buckeyes taking the L there. Don't worry, still in the hunt. They'll still be there later. Okay, their schedule stinks the rest of the year.
NCAA will find a way.
We'll get to that. But before we get to anything, let's talk some NFL. So some great games this week. Zach, your Eagles were victorious, leading the division right now, the division leader Eagles. Brandon, we suffered some losses. I think you and I both had a feeling, even though we both picked Washington. Obviously, you wanted the Giants to win there. I had that feeling in the back of my head. Washington was going to put a stinker out there.
I picked the Chargers.
The Chargers are a good team too. But let's let the winning guy go first. Zach, you got any recaps for the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Eagles game from start to finish. I will say, obviously I'm happy we won, but I really don't know if it was that we were good or Atlanta was that bad, because Atlanta was terrible. That was one of the worst offensive football games I've ever seen the Falcons produce. Kyle Pitts had 1 catch for 1 yard at halftime, and I think only 2 targets. I think that is pitiful. I will say, though, the first 2 drives,
nice
they went right down the field. Huh?
You said pitiful, Pitts.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Didn't even mean for the pun there. But the first 2 drives, they're going right down the field with Mike Davis, and then they just stopped. They stopped giving him the ball. They started, dinking and dunking it to him, but they stopped running the ball. I will say that I was shocked that our defense didn't give up a touchdown. That was something that I don't care how bad the team that we play. The Eagles always give up, it seems like 17 to 20 points. But, I'm excited about the win. I loved Nick Sirianni in his debut as play calling. He got the ball out. And one thing that I love that he did was JJ Arcega-Whiteside has sat on the sideline since we've drafted him. He's using him as a blocker. Hey, he might not be the best wide receiver. He might not be a guy who's going to catch the ball and stretch the field. But look, we're using him as a blocker. We're getting screens out to Watkins and Rager, because Rager is a guy that last year all we did was run him on fly routes and he couldn't do it. We're getting the ball to him. That was something that Doug Peterson didn't do. That right away, Nick Sirianni got it to Quez Watkins, and got it to Jalen Rager, and got them in space. That was huge. My biggest, I think the biggest disappointment for me, sorry, I'm taking a long time, the Packers. They laid an egg. I thought that was something that people have been talking about, how teams aren't playing their starters. They had a lot of turmoil with Rodgers' contract and the situation with the franchise. Mm-hmm. They look like they had a lot of problems this year. Or in the offseason, because they were terrible. They were really bad. But not even just offensively, defensively. They got lit up. So biggest disappointment, definitely the Green Bay Packers this weekend.
Brandon?
I'll talk real quick about the Falcons. Dude, that first drive looked good. They went to Ridley 3 times, 39 yards. Mike Davis, Patterson. I don't know what the hell happened after that. What are you doing? It's not like the Eagles had the 1985 Bears defense.
Yeah.
They stopped going to Ridley. He had 8 targets the whole game. He's the only guy. 8 targets. Tyreek Hill had 16 targets. Travis Kelce had 10 targets. It's like, what the fuck? Oh. You need to cut that out. But I will say Cleveland shocked me. I did not expect Cleveland to be that good. I watched that full game versus the Chiefs because the Giants stink. They were on TV. I can't watch them. Jason Garrett is the worst offensive coordinator ever. My high school is better than Jason Garrett. But, I don't understand why Daniel Jones holds onto the ball so long. It's not – the O-line I thought was going to be horrific. They gave up, 2 sacks to Denver. And Denver has a really good, front 7. I'll take that every day of the week. 2 sacks, that's it. They played fairly decent. Saquon is still injured. It's pretty clear to see that. I think he'll get the ball going, and they'll be of a more run pass threat instead of just dropping back to pass and Sterling Shepard getting 13 targets, which is unheard of. But the Giants will win 3 games this year. They're that bad. I don't expect anything more.
Wow, a little different narrative there. Hey, we are saving an overreactions for later, but all right, I think Brandon might have hit it there. Hey, shout out to Colin Thomas talking about OCs there. I would take him over Jason Garrett as well. Liberty High School, shout out Arizona there. Okay. Washington, hey, the book's out on how to beat them from an offensive standpoint. Get the ball out of your hands quick. Test the secondary. Do not let that stacked D line affect you because you're throwing the ball out and letting your athletes work. Obviously, the Chargers, good team, and they have really good weapons on the outside, but the blueprint's out there. Hey, good way to beat a team with a good D line. Don't let them affect the game. Some different games too. I got pulled up here. I bet that the Lions were going to cover this week. I thought they showed great fight. Obviously, Dan Campbell there. But the 49ers, Garoppolo is going to be that guy for them. A game I really enjoyed watching, even though it wasn't a close game, was the Bears-Rams game. Jalen Ramsey was like defensive player of the year good. There was that one driver was like he made four of the 6 tackles on the drive, and he was dominating out there. So that was pretty cool to watch. And Justin Fields, just start him. Why are you going to crash and burn with Andy Dalton there? I don't get it because you put him in and he scores. He's electric for the offense. Those guys rally around him. Justin Fields is being the good guy that he is, talking about please don't bash Andy Dalton. He's a person too, blah, blah, blah. Justin Fields, I'll say it too. You should be starting. It's no offense to Andy Dalton. The Bears want to win. They got to start you. It was cool to see Christian McCaffrey back, fully healthy. Obviously, combined, he had over 100 yards total offense, correct? I think it was like 90 rushing, 80 receiving, something like that. He kind of does it all. And then the Raiders game, I did not get to watch, and I fell asleep pretty early there. But just another great game. Ravens obviously affected with losing their top 2 running backs. Any team would be.
That was a great game. That was a great game. I watched the whole game. That was a great game.
And same with the Bengals. Love seeing that.
That was a good game.
Jamar Chase getting that touchdown there. And then obviously the Cardinals on the road against the Titans and dominating.
And the Titans looked bad.
They did.
Even their offense looked bad. Julio Jones had like 20 yards.
Yeah, they only targeted him like 3 or 4 times too. They did not target him enough. Then he's on.
And he had a huge game. He had a huge game-changing penalty. They had a 3rd and 1. I think they were only down 7 at this point. 3rd and 1, or they were down 10. 3rd and 1. Julio Jones punches one of the corners or whatever, and they got a 15-yarder. So it dropped them back. Then they don't convert on 3rd down, and Arizona goes right down and scores. I think it made it a 17-point game, and then that's when it just snowballed.
Dude, Arizona looked good.
They did. I wondered if they're good.
Like the NFC West is damn good.
Yeah. So, Brandon, you kind of already overreacted with your Giants there. So I'm going to let you start off. What are your overreactions from week 1?
All right, I'll start off by saying something positive. Adam Thielen, now that Justin Jefferson's getting the number 1 corner, is going to absolutely eat. 9 receptions, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 14 touchdowns last year. I hear chirps. I hear them. Everyone likes to bash Adam Thielen. Justin Jefferson's the next great receiver. He's not even the best receiver on his team. Adam Thielen has been and is the best receiver on the Minnesota Vikings. I don't understand the hate towards Adam Thielen. Everyone acts like he's just a scrub. The dude is literally a top 10 receiver. I'll put him at 10, but he's top 10. Another overreaction bad. The 49ers backfield is just a mess. Why are you spending a 3rd round pick on someone who's your 6th running back? You're picking up guys from Baltimore practice squads. Baltimore lost 3 running backs, and they're still cutting guys. And you're picking up their scraps? I mean, it makes no sense. I don't know what Trey Sermon did. Zach, you mentioned it earlier. He must have had an affair with Shanahan's wife. I don't know what happened. He had to have done something. It makes no sense.
That, but I did laugh at someone who did mention that. Yes.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought you said that.
No. I said I'd pay for the video to see if that happened.
All right. Those are two overreactions.
Yeah. Yeah. The 49ers backfield is just actually just the 49ers in general. The game was a roller coaster. 38-10. And then the Lions somehow come all the way back, receive an onside kick, score. It's like, what the hell? The Lions? Brandon Ayuk had 0 catches. He was like wide receiver 1 for the 49ers for like 6 weeks last year. Deebo Samuel out of nowhere had 189 yards receiving. It's like the 49ers are turning into the Patriots. You literally 1 week, someone's going to go off. Next week, that guy might not have nothing. The 4th string running back might start. He might go off. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like the Patriots of the past where you don't know. And I wouldn't start any 49er other than Kittle.
Yeah. Zach, you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, some overreactions I have. I think the Titans are going to struggle this year, and seeing them, I didn't watch that game. I watched a lot of the highlights afterwards though, and their offensive line was getting destroyed. I mean, absolutely getting destroyed. Derrick Henry with 9 yards. I mean, 9 yards. He's arguably one of the top 2 running backs in the league, and he was getting destroyed behind the line. Tannehill is getting strip sacked, getting his arm hit. They're going to struggle. And I know that Chandler Jones is good. I know that TJ Watt, they're elite DNs, but man, they look bad. And one thing that's going to kill them in that division is defense. And you know what? The Houston Texans, they've taken a lot of heat. They did it the right way. They stacked that running back room, that rotation, Ingram, David Johnson, and Phillip Lindsay, they looked good. Now it was the Jaguars. But I think the Texans are going to they're not going to be a 2-3 win team. They're going to win some games because they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the rock, and Tyrod can run, and he threw well. He threw well too. So that division is going to be weird. The Colts, I still think are okay. I think the Packers are going to be fine. I would hate to be a Detroit Lion this week because I think the Packers are going to absolutely go off. But I will say I agree with you, Brandon. I don't understand what Kyle Shanahan's doing with the running back situation. Very weird situation there. They're signing practice squad guys. They signed Kerryon Johnson. They signed Trenton Cannon or whatever. And he was like the 4th string running back for the Cardinals last year. The Ravens signed him. He gets cut when they've lost all these backs. Like, why are you bringing him in? Very weird situation. I actually think that the Washington football team is going to be okay with Taylor Heineke. I don't think I was a big Fitzpatrick guy. I think Fitzpatrick, this was going to be the perfect offense for him. But then Taylor Heineke just gives them another threat. He can run the ball now. And you can run some read stuff with him and Gibson. I think they get, I don't want to say better, but I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be fine. Dallas is losing guys left and right. So who knows? I think Dallas is going to have a rough couple of weeks here. They lost DeMarcus Lawrence today to a broken foot. That's huge for their defense. It's already pretty shallow in depth. So I don't know. I don't really have a huge overreaction to anything yet. For me, the biggest surprise obviously was the Packers, but I think the Titans are going to be the team that everyone thinks is going to be good this year, that I don't think they have a great year anymore. Kind of shocked by the way they played, especially with Vrabel, because I do like Vrabel, and I think he's a guy who can get his team up for games, but they look bad.
All right. Well, I don't know if it's really overreaction, but the Rams, they're legit. All right. We already knew they're going to be good. Look good with Stafford back there. Obviously, running back stuff. Henderson's just going to be that pound jet. They're going to really just rely on the pass there. Can they do all that when it's cold weather? Obviously, they're in LA. They're in a division where it's going to be pretty warm. Playoffs, you got to go somewhere cold. How's that going to work? You know what I mean? Going to what you said about the Packers, I think the Packers could lose this week. I think the Lions, there's something about the Lions. I thought the Packers looked horrible. Now, teams like the Buccaneers did get crushed last year to the Packers, and there's some good teams that do get crushed early, still trying to figure it out. What are they trying to figure out? Tampa Bay had an excuse last year. What's Green Bay trying to figure out? I think this happens all the time. Guys like Aaron Rodgers, I understand he's one of the best to ever play the position, but guess what? When you take that much time off and you put all that look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm going to make a big deal about it. It never works, man. Never works. Guys get hurt or they suck. That's usually what happens. I'm not saying every time, but I can see it happening here. They'll still make some crazy throws. They'll still have some big weeks, but that hurts a team aspect there when a guy holds out like that. And two, the Bills, I understand. I think the Steelers are good. But guess what? I could see the Bills dropping one this week to the Dolphins. I could see them start 0-2 as well. So you have an
Yes.
NFC championship team and an AFC championship team starting the season off 0-2, and a loss on both of their things will be to the Dolphins and the Lions. That'd be pretty tough. Jameis Winston. You know what I mean? Is he with the right team? I think the Packers just played that bad. I don't think Jameis Winston can keep all that up. But we'll see about that. I really do like the Rams, though, that defense. Can they mix it up? And once again, the NFC East will have a team that finished no better than – we have 17 games this year. 9-8 will be the best record. If they get that, I'd be surprised.
I don't think that. I think 8-9.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 8-9 is probably they're going to be right around that 500 mark. Obviously can't be 500 this year, but they're going to be right there. I think the NFC East, because I think the Eagles are going to look great like they did, and then they're going to drop some stinkers. That's kind of this happens, right? We've seen this before where it's all that hype. They had a great game. They're still a very young team. I think that's why they will lose those stinkers. Washington is just going to try to keep that head above the water with that defense. Like I said, secondary sucked. I understand they played some really good teams. Can the Giants score? Their defense is good. Can they score? And Dallas, can they stay healthy? You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's an overreaction either. That might just be the real talk.
Real quick, the Giants defense is good. Now, they gave up 27 points. I want to point out their offense, the time of possession was like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, when your defense is on the field for so long, there's only so much you can do. So the problem is Jason Garrett is horrible. It's the most predictable offense I've ever seen. And Daniel Jones doesn't make the right decision. You need to go downfield more. You can't make obvious running situations. Then Saquon's going to get tackled 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It's frustrating. I really think the NFC East has got awful this year.
I will say I cannot believe the Giants brought him back for a second year. I think with all the young offensive-minded quarterback coaches and McVay assistants and Shanahan assistants and all this stuff, you don't go out and get a guy to help Daniel Jones out. You get all these weapons. You went out and got him Galladay. You got him Tony. You don't.
Tony had 2 touches. 2 touches. First-round pick, 2 touches. What are you doing?
But you bring in Jason Garrett, who in Dallas ran an offense that was pretty flat. Like there was nothing great about it. There's nothing innovative about it. It's just pretty much, hey, we're going to try and pound the ball with our running back, and hey, we'll try to get you out in space. Like there's nothing great about it. Like Sean McVay watching against the Bears, you think he's doing something, he's doing the complete opposite of what you think he's going to do. All these motions, Robert Woods is in the backfield. Like there was nothing like unpredictable about their offense. Kadarius Toney goes in jet motion. Guess what? He's getting.
It's obvious. It's obvious he's going jet. My grandmother knew Kadarius Toney was going to run that play when they ran.
It's just like there's nothing to it.
It makes no sense. Their O-line, they played well, but come on, you don't have the Dallas Cowboys 2016 offensive line with a rookie Zeke Elliott running behind. You have a banged up Saquon Barkley and a terrible bottom 5 O-line. And it's pretty damn predictable what you're going to do. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I wasn't very impressed with their offensive output.
And you know what's sad? Atlanta was worse. How can you be worse than the Giants?
And Arthur Smith was a big name, big time hire this offseason. Every team wanted a piece of him. I was shocked. I honestly was shocked. It was bad. And I watched the whole game. Obviously, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm going to watch that game. Wow. The Falcons were just they were a mess. They were an absolute mess.
Yeah. All right, moving on from a little bit of NFL, we will come back to it with the fantasy. Our fantasy, I'd say predictions. We're going to try to pick someone that's not maybe on everybody's radar that's going to have a good week in fantasy. Before we get to that, we're going to try to be real quick because I know Brandon and I could talk as long as anybody here, and so could Zach because it was a big team. His team got the win over my Buckeyes. Ohio State going down. Ohio State's defense could not stop a soul. Okay, I understand everybody keeps on saying it was speed, speed, speed. I think Oregon just executed to a T every drive. Ryan Day punting in a really bad situation in good field position when you're down kind of sucked, but also the offense was doing fine. Obviously, I don't know. CJ Stroud's still in that getting his feet wet. I think he's obviously underperforming. But when you go from Justin Fields to him, it's kind of, you're going to lose that every time when you go from that big of a jump. Some other notable things, I'm sure Brandon will hit it. Notre Dame playing a close one, gets lucky that Ohio State does lose, because then the story would have all been, is Notre Dame for real? Because Florida State loses to Jacksonville State. Texas A&M only winning by 3 over Colorado, a crazy one. But all of these losses that are going to happen, Ohio State will still be there. Okay, Clemson will still be there. And you know who this hurts the most, everybody? Cincinnati. Cincinnati gets hurt because all these one-loss powerhouses are going to be there later in December and January. Even if Cincinnati is undefeated, I bet they're on the outside looking in. Zach, I'll let you go because you're Oregon Ducks with the big win this week.
Yeah, and I didn't get to watch much college football this weekend because I had my game and then I had to book it to a wedding in Maryland. But I will say the biggest difference I see with the Oregon offense this year is, yes, Tyler Shaw last year. Weird year with COVID. Oregon had a lot of guys that were out, that opted out. But I will say the biggest difference this year, and it's back to what Oregon used to do, we have a dual threat quarterback. We have a guy who can run the reads. We have a guy who can take off and run. He's a run first guy, but he runs really well with the football. Anthony Brown, transferred from Boston College. I love him so far. He's done a great job. But I agree with you. The end of the season is going to kill Cincinnati, because Ohio State, all these one-loss teams are still going to be around. There's still going to be a team that is going to get the NCAA ratings.
Yep.
So they're going to find their way to get those type of teams in, and that's fine. I have the feeling already that Oregon's going to have a great year and fall in the Pac-12 championship or lose a game very late that will put them out. I think they're a really good team this year, though. They're finally recruiting defense. That was something that Chip Kelly got scrutinized for, because he would recruit all these big 5-star, not even 5-star, just all these speedy, 3, 4, 5-star guys, but defense didn't care about. You're bringing in guys that are just okay players that you can't compete at big time Division I with no defense. And that's pretty much what the Big 12 is right now. Oklahoma's seeing it. Their scheme is just so bad in Oklahoma. And I don't know how you fix it. They brought in a good D coordinator last year. I thought it would turn it around, but it didn't. But I'm excited about Oregon Ducks. I'm excited we have a dual threat quarterback again. I didn't get to watch this weekend. I'm so upset. I did listen on the radio, though, on the way to Maryland, but lost reception as the game was going on. But yeah, that's a huge win for the program. And honestly, it was a huge win for the Pac-12. I saw a stat. It was the highest ranked opponent a Pac-12's team has beaten in 5 years. Wow. So,
Brandon, you want to talk about your boys? I'll have to put a timer on you because I know you talk forever about it.
Well, I'll get to that. The reason why I'll get to it is I didn't watch the game. I want to complain about Peacock. You're telling me I have to spend money to watch Notre Dame football now? I know it was 1 week, and they're like, oh, it's Toledo. Well, I'm glad I didn't watch it because Notre Dame stinks. The quarterback stinks. The play calling stinks. The defense stinks. My teams stink. I'm a loser. I don't root for good teams. With that being said, Zach, I think you're dead wrong about Oregon. They gave up 450 yards to CJ Stroud, who's not that good in my opinion. Why is a quarterback throwing for that much in college? For sure, great defense.
Whoa, I didn't say great defense. I said they're recruiting defense, and they held them to what? 21, 28 points. Can't remember the final now.
And your boy at quarterback was under 50% accuracy. Oregon, the Pac-12 is a joke. I said this last year. I'll say it again. The West Coast football teams, they stink. USC, Stanford, I stayed up and watched that game. They stink. USC stinks. Colorado stinks.
Ohio State stinks. So Ohio State sucks.
They're not that good. And I'll tell you what, the one team that is good? Alabama. Alabama's heads and tails above everyone else. I've watched a lot of
I don't
college
disagree.
football.
Brandon.
Look. I watched the past 2 weeks. I watched a lot of games. I will say Alabama by far looks the best. By far.
Yes, we know.
Not
No
even
one's arguing
close.
that.
It's a great take.
Yes,
man.
you're right. Oklahoma's 76-0 win wasn't as impressive against.
No, because they're
Carolina.
playing.
Yeah,
they're
I
playing
know.
me.
I'm saying
They're
not.
playing a bunch of 5'10" guys who are 150 pounds.
Oh,
Oklahoma stinks.
Stop.
They stink.
Stop. I'm not saying Western Carolina is good, but stop. There ain't 5'10". They don't.
I just want to say,
Carolina. I tell you that, or it would have been 95-0.
Nick, I'm calling you out. Here's the record. Nick was recruited by Western Carolina. He's biased as shit. Stop it. Stop right now. You were recruited by
Alabama's
Western
better.
Carolina.
I'm saying what they did is more impressive. Brandon, I'm saying, yeah, no duh. Alabama's the best. Just because Oklahoma's beating crappy Western Carolina.
You're biased, though. You know you like Western Carolina. I'm not having it.
I'm agreeing with you, Brandon. Oh, my gosh. Yes, Western Carolina did recruit me when I was in high school. Cool. I have no ties to their football program. Okay. There we go. All right. God, I was agreeing the whole time with you. You took offense to it. All right.
Iowa State stinks. Iowa State is horrible every year.
Iowa. I like what Iowa's doing down there. They'll be around for that Big Ten championship. All right. Here we go. So, fellas, I don't know if you had any time to look at it, but any fantasy sleepers? I'm not talking Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, those type of guys. I'm saying the guys are going to have a big week. Teams are going to have a big week and can help you in fantasy. Okay. If you guys want, I can go first here. Okay. Obviously, I think there's a lot of things out there where people can go. Elijah Mitchell, obviously running back for the 49ers. I think he's going to have a big because they like to run the ball a lot. Cool. But the Colts as well. Pascal for the Colts had a lot of receptions there. Sorry, not a lot of receptions, but some big receptions, scores. The thing that kind of sucks for fantasy for me, obviously week one's always overreaction, right? It's just like in baseball, the dude that hits for the cycle and it's like, whoa, I got to pick that guy up. And it's all about looking at the targets. Okay. Did they get 3 targets and 2 touchdowns? I understand that's great for your fantasy team, but when you're only getting targeted 3 times, that's not the guy you're looking for. I think Pascal could take that next step because, hey, your boy Wentz got to rely on somebody there. So I think Pascal could be the guy. I have Pittman on my fantasy team, so it sucks to say that, but I think they're going to go there. And then what's the Eagles' backup's name? I can't think of his name right now, Zach.
Gainwell?
The backup for what? The running back? Kenny Gainwell.
Gainwell, yeah. He's picked up in our league already, or he was drafted, but he got a lot of carries in the red zone, I believe, last game. So, again, I think that could be another big one because who do the Eagles play this week, Zach?
49ers.
49ers. Guess what? That's going to be a dogfight of the game. I think, obviously, Hurts is going to be running that rock in the red zone, and they're going to stay trying to pound it. What about you guys?
I'll go next. I think with Jerry Jeudy going down, I think Tim Patrick is going to be a guy that you could pick up. I had Tim Patrick on my team last year. The dude never drops the ball. I think he had, I can't remember how many targets or whatever without a drop. He had, I think, 6 or 7 touchdowns last year. He's a guy who the Broncos relied on last year when Courtland Sutton was out. I don't think Courtland Sutton is fully healthy. He was on a snap count against the Giants. And I think Tim Patrick's going to step up and he's going to have a good week. And the other thing, and I'll be quick with this one, whoever starts at running back for the 49ers, you're guaranteed a 100-yard game. Yeah. It's just you can figure out which one is going to play. You got to figure out which one's going to play. I picked up Hasty. I immediately dropped him because they signed a bunch of dudes and I don't want the headache for myself. It might be Hasty. Who knows who it'll be? It's unbelievable what Shanahan does, but that offense, whoever is running the rock is going to get 100 yards. Like they find a way to do it. And I love his offense. I really do. But for fantasy purposes, it's terrible. But whoever's starting for running back at 49ers and Tim Patrick for the Broncos.
Brandon?
I have 2 guys I think are going to do well. We mentioned one of them, Tyrod Taylor. Dude, I think he's going to have a great year. And he's like a dual threat guy for fantasy, dude. That he's going to be top 14, 13, 12 kind of quarterback. Like, he's going to be that good. My other guy, believe it or not, is I think Mike Williams is going to have a hell of a year. People forget his first 2 years, he had 10 touchdowns the first year and like 1,000 yards in both his first 2 seasons or something like that. He didn't have a good year last year. But Keenan Allen and Mike Williams with Austin Eckler not getting receptions is kind of a good offense. I don't think Eckler takes – the problem with Eckler is when Phillip Rivers was there, he would just dump it down. Mike Williams is like Keenan Allen is like the underneath guy. Then you have Eckler. Those two got a lot of targets. Mike Williams was kind of forgotten about. Yes, he would have like a big touchdown, and I'm going back. I'm backtracking because I'm saying that Mike Williams had 1,000 yards or 10 touchdowns, whatever. He actually last week had receptions. For the first time in his career, he had, I'm pretty sure, double-digit receptions or something outrageous like that. Or it might have been a few times, but like he was dominating. And I think I'm a big Herbert guy. I've said it all along. He's a beast. I knew coming out. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Herbert's a beast. I trust that offense. The O-line looked good. And as long as Eckler is a strict running back and not trying to play like slot receiver, I think Mike Williams dominates this year.
Yeah, good pick if he's available in those leagues. I know he was picked up in ours. We also have a 12-person league, so happens.
Yeah, every running back is picked up in our league.
Yeah, we're like the 49ers just picking up anybody now at running back.
Yeah.
So, and some last words here, at least from me. It's great that football's back. You know what's even greater? It's been hot here the past couple of days. I want these long sleeve shirts out. I want the football weather back. I don't think it's going to happen this week, but I think it's soon. We're a week or two away. Getting outside, bringing the TV outside, watching some football outside, and just watching nothing but football. I cannot wait. I'm going to continue to lose these 10-team parlays with one heartbreaker late. The Packers were my heartbreaker this week. Who will be it next week? I don't know, but I'm glad football's back. Brandon?
I will say, obviously, yes, I love football. College football is back. NFL is back. Saturday and Sundays, I'm watching football all day. I will say, this, I feel guilty. This past Sunday was beautiful outside. Saturday was beautiful. I feel guilty this time of year because it's so nice out. And I'm just, I'm a huge football fan. So I have conflicted issues. Like, I need to go outside. Like, it's nice out, but football's on. So when it gets colder, then I have okay, I can sit on my couch all day and watch football. But September is always tough for me.
Yep. Zach?
I will say I did not feel guilty at all. I watched the grass grow and the Eagles play and all the afternoon games. Grilled a steak. Sunday was great. I'm glad football's back. There's a lot of good matchups this week too. And you were talking about some powerhouse teams going 0-2. The Colts, who are a lot of people's favorites this year to win that division.
Yeah, I was on.
They play the Rams. They just lost to the Seahawks. Now they play the Rams. Could be an 0-2 start there for Frank Reich and Carson Wentz. So who knows? But I'm excited, man. NFL's been awesome. I thought there was a lot of really good games. And how about the NFL scripting the Bucks Cowboys Thursday night and then ending it with the Ravens Raiders Monday night? I mean, great game. 2 great games on primetime, which was awesome because we haven't been seeing that the last couple of years. Primetime games have been terrible. So
yeah, hopefully continue.
All I got.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes these primetime games, at least I've seen them a lot in baseball. But football sometimes too, right? You just get those stinkers, and the best games at 1, So, all right. Well, thank you for watching Recliner Sports Talk Season 2, Episode 2. My name's Nick.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Zach.
And we'll see you guys next week on Recliner Sports Talk.